Hi, I am Bhushan Jalali. You are watching Economy by Bhushan, a subset of Nancy Foundation. Today we have chosen the topic Fertilizer Industry of India. So let us start. Fertilizer is defined as an organic or inorganic substance which may be natural or artificial, supplying one or more of chemical or nutrients for plant growth. So what is the focus? Focus is that supplying of nutrients so that there is a balanced plant growth. Normally they provide 6 macronutrients and 8 micronutrients. This is what is called fertilizer. So this is very important as regards to the agriculture. Second, as you know, fertilizers form part of one of the 8 core industries of India. So the core industries, among core industries like electricity, refineries, steel, coal, oil, natural gas, cement, fertilizer is one of the core industries of India. Fine. And secondly, India is the second largest consumer of urea fertilizer after China, and it is also the second largest producer of urea fertilizer in the world. Again, coming to fertilizers general, normally we have two types of fertilizers. Classification we can do on the basis of, say, primary nutrients and secondary nutrients, or sometimes we say it nitrogenous, potassic and phosphorus. Primary nutrients, which we call macronutrients, they consist of nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, calcium, magnesium and sulfur. These are the macronutrients which are required for a plant growth. So fertilizers support or give these nutrients to the plants. Secondary, which we also call micro. Secondary nutrients or micronutrients, they consist of boron, chlorine, copper, iron, zinc, etc. This is one way of classification of fertilizers or we can say primary fertilizers, or we can say macronutrients, or we can say secondary nutrients or micronutrients. So this is one way of classification of fertilizers. Second way of classification of fertilizers are nitrogenous fertilizers, potassic fertilizers, phosphatic fertilizers, which mean those fertilizers which have which are nitrogenous, which are nitrogen as the main component, main ingredient. For example, we have in nitrogenous we have urea, we have ammonia nitrate, we have ammonium sulfate, where nitrogen content is the main, nitrogenous substance is the main. Those type of fertilizers are called nitrogenous fertilizers, where nitrogen is in good quantity. Second is called potassic, like potassium nitrate, chili saltpeter. These are all called potassic. And the same way we have phosphatic, where phosphorus is in prime main content of the fertilizer. So in nutshell, we say that for a plant growth, for a balanced plant growth, we should have nitrogen, we should have potassic, we should have phosphate, potassium as well as phosphate. But the main content in the soil or for the requirement of the plant is nitrogen. So that is why in India it is urea. Urea is a nitrogenous fertilizer. It is consumed the most. Before we go further, as you know that among the three, nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium, nitrogenous fertilizer are heavily subsidized in India, and among the total fertilizers used in India, 60% consists of urea, and the rest 40% consists of potassium and phosphorus. One thing I want to share you. Second is, so far as the subsidy is concerned, if we grade which is the most subsidized subsidy expenditure for Indian finances, we say it is number one food subsidy, followed by fertilizer subsidies. Fertilizer stands at number 2 position, then followed by petroleum, then interest payments, and then others. So it is the biggest expenditure, second biggest expenditure to the exchequer with regard to the fertilizer subsidy. So one more thing we should remember, that nitrogenous fertilizer, with the generic term we call urea, that is controlled. Controlled means the prices of the urea are being decided by the government. It is not decided by the market. While as fertilizers of phosphorus and potassium, they are decontrolled. That means they are open to private sector. It is as per their dynamics. They decide what will be the market price or will be the selling cost of the. While in the case of urea, it is the selling price is decided by the government. That's why government, it is cheapest available in India, because government provides the subsidy to its manufacturers. India's dependency on import at present, in the case of urea, 25% of our Indian urea consumption is still imported, while in the case of phosphates 90% are imported, and in the case of potash it is 100% we are dependent on imports. So we can say in the case of urea only we have to a substantial amount we are indigenous, but still 25% of the requirement is met by imports. Out of 32 urea manufacturing units, 30 units are using natural gas. One of the important factors for understanding the fertilizer industry is how it is prepared. What are its, we call that feedstock. Its feedstock can be natural gas, its feedstock can be coal gas, its feedstock can be naphtha. So it depends on that. As you know, India imports natural gas. So the prices of the natural gas are volatile depending upon the prices in the foreign exchange, depends in the prices in the foreign countries. So that is why our fertilizer costs are flexible, vulnerable. So we cannot plan properly. One aspect. Second aspect is natural gas is cheaper as compared to other energies. Natural gas emits lesser greenhouse gases. So as per our commitment for environment, it is must that we should have natural gas. But in the case of coal, India has abundant reserves of coal. So if we are able to use our coal reserves or coal gasification is done, then we are not dependent on the foreign countries. Number one. Number two, our prices of the fertilizers will not be subject to the variation in the exchange rates, because as we have to import, then our exchange value depends upon the foreign currencies. So these are the certain advantages and disadvantages of these. As you must have heard that now the government is planning for gasification of our coal in a large scale. So since among the three fertilizers, it is the urea which is mainly used in India. So let us now know about the urea policy of Government of India. What is the urea policy? That is, what is the policy for manufacturing and distribution of the urea fertilizer? First thing is energy efficiency in urea production. That means the fertilizer manufacturing industry, they should use the efficient system of energy in their manufacturing process. And this is the first government policy. You can say why. The reason behind is that when the government pays the subsidy amount, they see what is the cost of the urea manufacturing. If you have obsolete manufacturing tools, if you have obsolete feedstock system, then the cost of the manufacturing increases. So government has made it a policy that promoting energy efficiency in urea production, in urea manufacturing. Number one. Number two is rationalizing subsidy burden on the government. As I told you that after food subsidy, fertilizer subsidy is the second highest subsidy. This is a big financial burden on the exchequer. So the government's policy is to rationalize. Rationalize means that it should not be regressive, it should be progressive. Progressive in the sense, the richer people, the affluent farmers, let them have lesser subsidy, the poorer have more. But as of now, it is regressive. All the subsidy criteria is uniform. Cost of fertilizer is uniform, irrespective of what are your holdings, what are your economic background. Third point in our new urea policy is encouraging organic farming. For that, government has introduced different schemes. One is called Paramparagat Krishi Vikas Yojana. Paramparagat means what was our historical, what we used to use as fertilizers in the past, that is cow dung, cow urine, or all those things as a fertilizer to provide nutrients to the soil or to the plants. One more point is they have reduced the size of the urea bags from 50 kg to 45 kgs. Suppose the urea bag cost us say 272 rupees. Previously it was 50 kgs per bag. Now they have reduced the content of the bag 45, so that farmers use lesser amount of urea. So they have reduced the size of the bag from 50 kg to 45 kgs. Government has introduced a soil health card scheme which promotes balanced nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. Ideal ratio is 4:2:1. That means nitrogen should be in the soil. Nitrogen should be in the ratio of 4, with phosphorus at 2 and potassium with 1. What has been observed that in India, because of the reckless use of urea being cheaply available and subsidized available, farmers are now using it extensively more than required. So the government has introduced soil health cards so that they know what is the health of their soil. What are the contents therein? It has been observed that in India, nitrogen content installed should be around 4. It is 7. So phosphorus it should be 2, in the ratio of 2, and then potassium it should be 1. So they have introduced soil health cards so that farmers know what type of fertilizer they need, their soil needs. Only they can use that type of fertilizer. This will promote lesser use of these fertilizers, lesser use of inorganic chemicals, and at the same time saving prices also. Fine. One more thing government has introduced is nano urea, nano sulfur, nano DAP. What is this nano? Nano means small particles. Conventionally, fertilizer is mixed with the soil and then it helps to grow. In that case, the nutrient use efficiency is less as compared to nano urea, nano sulfur. How? Because these are in the shape of liquids. These are sprinkled on the leaves of the plant, while as normal fertilizer is mixed with the soil. With the result, its utility, its use, its effect on the plant is less as compared to the use of on the leaves directly, on the plant directly. They say it has efficiency has increased from 25% to 80% with the invent of nano urea. The second is nano gold, which is called urea gold. What is urea gold? Urea gold is it has nitrogen plus sulfur, because soil also needs sulfur but to a little extent, little percentage. So they have developed a urea gold which has both nitrogen and sulfur. So when the farmer uses it in one time, so he is taking care of the both nutrients. Fine. But in the case of urea gold, they have reduced the size of they have kept the prices the same, what was in the urea, but they have reduced it from 45 kg to 40 kgs. This is done for what has been done under new urea policy. Secondly, coal gasification. As I said you earlier, Talchar is a unit in Odisha. It has for promotion of coal gasification. It shall also aid in meeting the stated aim of gasifying. We have the aim of 100 metric tons of coal by 2030. As I said you already, gasification, using of gases, coal gas as an energy in the formation of the fertilizer makes it cost lesser and less emission of greenhouse gases, environment friendly. And moreover, coal is abundantly available in India. We need not to import natural gas from foreign countries. Thus, we are becoming Atmanirbhar as well as saving the precious foreign exchange. Fine. This was about urea. So far as about phosphatic and potassic fertilizers are concerned, government has made it decontrolled. That means they have allowed private sector to manufacture and sell it whatever are their costs and profits. However, non-urea costs in non-urea fertilizers, government provides subsidy on the basis of nutrient content. So they have involved these phosphorus and potassium based fertilizers on the basis of what will be the nutrient content in their 1 kg or 5 kg, or on the basis of that they will be given incentives. This is how, that is called NBS, nutrient based subsidy. In the case of phosphorus and potassium based fertilizers, subsidy is given on the basis of, we call that nutrient based subsidy. So if they sell a bag of 40 kgs, they see how much content is this having about the nutrients. Those nutrients are giving some subsidies. Further, with regard to the urea fertilizer industry in India, government is also has launched one scheme called PM Pranam, PRANAM. What does it mean? PM program for restoration, awareness, generation, nourishment, and amelioration of Mother Earth. What does it actually mean? Aim is to reduce chemical fertilizers by incentivizing the states. Central government has, under the scheme, asked the state governments to incentivize, or we can say to reduce the consumption expenditure of chemical fertilizers. The amount by which they will reduce the chemical fertilizers, the same amount is given to the state as an grant, with the condition that 70% of that saved amount you have to invest in the technology or infrastructure assets for generating organic fertilizers or these fertilizers. 30% of the saved amount they have to incentivize those farmers who have made, virtually they have to reward those farmers who have saved that amount of chemical fertilizers. This is under PM Pranam. Now the point is, what is the way forward? How we can how is the way forward for these fertilizer industries? The way forward is, so as of now, the urea is being imported by government, not by any private companies. So it is suggested that private sector should be allowed to import urea and sell it as per the market dynamics. That will infuse competition and will further help get rid of the government's expenditure on this urea. Introduce direct cash transfer method of subsidy. Instead of giving subsidized urea, subsidized fertilizers, government should introduce give cash. As of now we are giving subsidy to the manufacturers. Now better is, it is recommended that government, instead of giving subsidy to the manufacturers, they should give it directly to the farmers, just like in the case of LPG. That will save huge amount of this pilferage or excess charging. The way subsidy is being given directly to the beneficiaries under this LPG, the same way it should be done in fertilizers also. And last but not the least is encourage biofertilizers and fertigation techniques to reduce chemical fertilizers consumption. Fine. This is all what I had to share about fertilizer. Now, as I told you, fertilizer, how it is made, from where it is made. Fertilizer is made from ammonia or methane. 80% of the ammonia produced around the world is being used for agriculture purposes, for the purpose of manufacturing of fertilizers. Now the government is doing the process of manufacturing of ammonia, that is called green ammonia. What is green ammonia? Green ammonia means it is a manufacturing technique in which there are no greenhouse emissions while manufacturing, while using the energy. Totally it are greenhouse emissions less. This type of manufacturing of process is called green ammonia projects. As I told you that ammonia is the main input which is being used for manufacture of fertilizers. In a year, around $500 billion is spent by India only for the purpose of imports of ammonia. So if two things, one, we are spending a huge amount on the imports. Secondly, ammonia gives 80% of the carbon dioxide. So it is a big contributor for greenhouse gases. So that is why government has started now pushing for greenhouse gases. What is the greenhouse gases? Green ammonia. Green ammonia refers to ammonia which has been produced through a process that is 100% renewable and carbon free. कैसे? Nitrogen is derived by electrolysis of water, and hydrogen, and the nitrogen is derived from the air. When they put on the pressure, when they put on the process of heating under controlled system using greenhouse energy, using this what you call renewable energy, that type of process is called green ammonia. Currently, ammonia making is not a green process. It is now made from the methane. It is called steam methane reforming, SMR. Around 90% of the carbon dioxide is produced from SMR process. यानी कि whatever we manufacture methane from, manufacture urea from methane, in that case 90% of the this carbon dioxide which is evolved in this environment is produced from that process, that is called steam methane reforming process. India imports urea from China, Oman, UAE. Diammonium phosphate we import from Saudi Arabia, China and Morocco. Muriate of phosphate potassium we increase from 100% from Israel and Lithuania. This is all I had to share you about fertilizer industries. Anybody if has any question, he is most welcome to send a text to me. Thank you very much.